Hi friends, we're here with the 4 agreements and we've read through all 4 agreements and we're moving on to the Toltec path to freedom, breaking old agreements. So our 4 agreements, it's pretty powerful. I'm thinking maybe of putting together a little book club so that we can talk about our 4 agreements, talk them through, whatever. But I thought that I'd share quickly the contents. So we did the introduction, the domestication, and the dream of the planet. We did the first agreement, be impeccable with your word. We did the second agreement, don't take anything personally. We did the third agreement, don't make assumptions. And the fourth agreement, always do your best. So now we're moving on to the Toltec path to freedom and breaking old agreements. Then we're going to talk about the new dream, heaven on earth, and we'll finish up with prayers. The Toltec path to freedom, breaking old agreements. Everyone talks about freedom. All around the world, different people, different races, different countries are fighting for freedom. But what is freedom? In America, we speak of living in a free country. But are we really free? Are we free to be who we really are? The answer is no. We are not free. True freedom has to do with the human spirit. It's the freedom to be who we really are. Who stops us from being free? We blame the government. We blame the weather. We blame our parents. We blame religion. We blame God. Who really stops us from being free? We stop ourselves. What does it really mean to be free? Sometimes we get married and we say that we lose our freedom. When we get divorced and we're still not free? Well, what's stopping us? Why can't we be ourselves? We have memories of long ago when we used to be free and we loved being free. But we've forgotten what freedom really means. If we see a child who is 2 or 3, perhaps 4 years old, we find a free human. Why is this human free? Because this human does whatever he or she wants to do. The human is completely wild, just like a flower, a tree, or an animal that's not been domesticated. Wild. And if we observe humans who are 2 years old, we find that most of the time these humans have a big smile on their face and they're having fun. They're exploring the world. They're not afraid to play, and they're afraid when they're hurt, when they're hungry, when some of their needs are not met. But they don't worry about the past. They don't care about the future. They only live in the present moment. Very young children are not afraid to express what they feel. They're so loving that if they perceive love, they melt into love. They're not afraid to love at all. That is the description of a normal human being. As children, we're not afraid of the future or ashamed of the past. Our normal human tendency is to enjoy life, to play, to explore, to be happy, and to love. But what's happened with the adult human? Why are we so different? Why are we not wild? From the point of view of the victim, we can say that something sad happened to us. And from the point of view of the warrior, we can say that what happened to us is normal. What has happened is what we have. What has happened is that we have the book of law, the big judge, and the victim who rules our lives. We're no longer free because the judge, the victim, and the belief system don't allow us to be who we really are. Once our minds have been programmed with all the garbage, we are no longer happy. This chain of training from human to human, from generation to generation, is perfectly normal in human society. You don't need to blame your parents for teaching you to be like them. What else could they teach you but what they know? They did the best they could, and if they abused you, it was due to their own domestication, their own fears, their own beliefs. They had no control over the programming they received, so they couldn't have behaved any differently. There is no need to blame your parents or anyone who abused you in your life, including yourself. But it is time to stop the abuse. It's time to free yourself of the tyranny of the judge by changing the foundation of your own agreements. It's time to be free from the role of the victim. The real you is still a little child who never grew up. Sometimes that little child comes out when you're having fun or playing, when you feel happy, when you're painting or writing a poetry, or playing the piano or expressing yourself in some way. These are the happiest moments of your life, when the real you comes out, when you don't care about the past, you don't worry about the future. You are childlike. But there's something that changes all of that. We call them responsibilities. The judge says, wait a second, you're responsible. You have things to do. You have to work. You have to go to school. You have to earn a living. All these responsibilities, they come to mind. Our face changes and becomes serious again. If you watch children when they're playing adults, you will see their little faces change. Let's pretend I'm a lawyer, and right away, their faces change. The adult face takes over. We go to court, and that is the face we see, and that is what we are. We're still children, but we have lost our freedom. The freedom we're looking for is the freedom to be ourselves, to express ourselves. But if we look at our lives, we still see that most of the time we do things just to please others, just to be accepted by others, rather than living our lives to please ourselves. That is what has happened to our freedom. And we see in our society and all the societies around the world that for every 1,000 people, 999 are completely domesticated. The worst part is that most of us are not even aware that we are not free. There's something inside that whispers to us that we are not free, but we do not understand what it is. And why are we not free? The problem with most people is that they live their lives and never discover that the judge and the victim rule their mind, and therefore they don't have a chance to be free. The first step towards personal freedom is awareness. We need to be aware that we are not free in order to be free. We need to be aware of what the problem is in order to solve the problem. Awareness is always the first step, because if you are not aware, there's nothing that you can change. If you are not aware that your mind is full of wounds and emotional poison, you cannot begin to clean and heal the wounds, and you will continue to suffer. There is no reason to suffer. With awareness, you can rebel and say, this is enough. You can look for a way to heal and transform your personal dream. The dream of the planet is just a dream. It's not even real. If you go into a dream and start challenging your beliefs, you will find that most of the beliefs that guided you into the wounded mind are not even true. You will find that you suffered all those years of drama for nothing. Why? Because the belief system that was put inside your mind is based on lies. That is why it's important for you to master your own dream. That is why the Toltecs became dream masters. Your life is the manifestation of your dream, and it is an art. And you can change your life. And you can change your life anytime if you aren't enjoying the dream. Dream masters create a masterpiece of life. They control the dream by making choices. Everything has consequences, and a dream master is aware of the consequences. To be Toltec is a way of life. It is a way of life where there are no leaders and no followers, where you have your own truth and live your own truth. A Toltec becomes wise, becomes wild, and becomes free again. There are 3 masteries that lead people to become Toltecs. First is the mastery of awareness. This is to be aware of who we really are with all of the possibilities. The second is the mastery of transformation, how to change, how to be free of domestication. The third is the mastery of intent. Intent from the Toltec point of view. It's that part of life that makes transformation of energy possible. It is the one living being that seamlessly encompasses all energy, or what we call God. Intent is life itself. It is unconditional love. The mastery of intent is therefore the mastery of love. When we talk about the Toltec path to freedom, we find that we have an entire map for breaking free of domestication. They compare the judge, the victim, and the belief system to a parasite that invades the human mind. From the Toltec point of view, all humans who are domesticated are sick. They are sick because there is a parasite that controls the mind and controls the brain. The food for the parasite are the negative emotions that come from fear. If we look at the description of a parasite, we find that the parasite is a living being who lives off of other living beings, sucking their energy without any useful contribution in return, and hurting their host little by little. The judge, the victim, and the belief system fit this description very well. Together they comprise a living being made of psychic or emotional energy, and that energy is alive. Of course, it is not material energy, but neither are emotions material energy. Our dreams are not material energy either, but we do know they exist. One function of the brain is to transform material energy into emotional energy. Our brain is the factory of the emotions, and we have said that the main function of the mind is to dream. The Toltecs believe that the parasite, the judge, the victim, and the belief system has control of your mind, and it controls your personal dream.